If you're struggling to create or to monetize your personal brand, there are 3 things you need to do every single day to make sure that you're successful. And I'm talking about concrete results like getting to 10K per month. That's exactly what me and my best friend Leo have been doing for the last year and a half. We've been building our personal brands, and in the last 10 months, we've achieved 10K per month consistently. Today is the 9th of May, and in the first 9 days of the month, we are already at 4K. So today I'm gonna guide you through these 3 things, and I promise you that if you apply them consistently over the course of months, you'll achieve concrete results. Let's get started with the first action, which is to think about the IFP and ICP. A bad personal brand is a generic one. I see so many creators post content that is successful about a specific topic, and then the following day they post about something that is completely irrelevant. And that's exactly why you want to think about the IFP and ICP. ICP stands for Ideal Customer Profile, where IFP stands for Ideal Follower Profile. The difference between the two is what they're interested in. When we think about a potential customer, there are 5 stages of awareness that potential customer can have. A person that has no idea that they even have a problem, in 3 months from that point could become a customer. The 5 stages are unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. Let's go through an example. Let's say that Jack doesn't really feel good about his life, but he's not able to understand why. He has his 9 to 5, he has his family, he has his own structure that his family or society gave him, and he just accepted it and thought that that was life. He's now feeling bad about it, but he's not aware of the fact that it's this structure that is making him feel bad. The second stage is problem aware. That is when you know that you have a problem and you know what that problem is, but you have no idea how to solve it. So let's say, for example, that Jack reflects on his problem and understands that he's tired of his 9 to 5. He doesn't like having a boss and having somebody tell him what to do. He doesn't like the fact that he's unappreciated at his job. Jack is problem aware, but he's not solution aware. He doesn't know that there is a solution. He only knows about the problem. So the third stage is solution aware. He looks for how to quit my 9 to 5 on YouTube and finds videos that explain how to do so. He now understands that there is a chance for him to quit his 9 to 5 and there are alternatives to having a 9 to 5. He maybe had no idea that an online business was a thing. The fourth stage is product aware. So now Jack knows that an online business is a thing, but he doesn't really know what steps he can follow. So he watches the video, and inside of the video, he finds a call to action to book a call with that specific creator for a consultation, a free consultation. And from there, Jack can learn more about his situation and be aware that there is a product that he can buy to fix his problem. The fifth stage is most aware. That is when Jack understands that the product is a fit for his problems. He understands that he has XYZ problems, and if he buys the product is going to bring him faster to his solution, and he's not going to have those problems anymore. The IFP and ICP are in 2 different stages. The ICP is a person who's already aware of the solution. He's already aware of the idea of buying a course or a product to speed up the process. It could be a person who doesn't know how to cook, but they're aware that there are cooking courses. It could be a person who wants to learn how to use AI and is aware that there are school communities that teach AI. This applies to any niche. Whatever niche you're in, this applies to your niche. The IFP is different because they do not know that there is a solution to that. The IFP is a person who wants to learn how to cook but has no idea that there are cooking schools or cooking courses. It's a person who has heard about AI but is not aware of the fact that you don't have to be a software engineer or have a degree in computer science to be able to use AI to build your business. So when you're working on your personal brand, whatever it is that you're working on, you need to remind yourself of what is the purpose of the thing that you're doing. Are you doing that thing for the IFP or the ICP? Because it's very different. The language that you use, the way that you speak, the things that you present are very different based on the fact that a person is or isn't aware of the solution. When you create for the IFP, you must ask yourself, what does the IFP like? What do they want? What is their problem? But when you talk to the ICP, you need to be more specific. What language does your ICP use? Do they talk about specific terms in your niche? If you're a cook, it could be a certain cooking system, or it could be a certain ingredient. If it's fitness, you can be talking about a specific exercise or a body part, and the list goes on for every single niche. As you can see, the TAM, which is the total addressable market, changes based on who you target. And again, I want to emphasize that you need to do this every single day. Every single time that you sit down on your computer to work on your personal brand and create content or create a freebie or create a landing page, or an offer, you need to be thinking about the IFP and ICP to make sure that what you're doing makes sense. The second thing you need to be doing every single day is to create content referring to an ecosystem. When creating content, 80% of the work is made in the pre-production. Most people said they just think that I can turn on the camera and start speaking to the camera and it's gonna make sense, I'm gonna come up with ideas. First of all, talking to the camera is extremely difficult. So if you're unprepared, you're gonna lose your train of thought in like 5 minutes. Not only that, but content needs a specific structure to be successful. It needs a hook, it needs proof, it needs presentation, it needs an outline of what is inside of the video. There's so many things you need to keep in mind, and that is only possible if pre-production is done correctly. This video took me hours and hours to prepare, but it's only gonna take me half an hour to record and probably around an hour to edit. Part of that work is on the full ecosystem that makes clear what content has to be made for and what is its purpose. Not only you need to prepare videos to make sure that they make sense, but you also need to have a vision of the grand scheme of things and connect the pieces of content to one another. An ecosystem is a map of all the kinds of content that serve your personal brand and allow you to transform a random viewer into a loyal client. The first layer of the ecosystem is the stage of the funnel. There are 3 stages: top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Each one of these has its own purpose. Top of funnel is the content that makes people discover you. This is the kind of content where you use the broader terms that you can use to make sure that people that are unaware or only problem aware are able to understand and become curious about your personal brand. Middle of funnel is the content that creates trust in the viewer and makes them solution aware. The target is the ICP. Here you go more in depth. You go into the specifics of what you want to teach. Finally, you have the bottom of funnel content, and that is content that allows the ICP to become a client. And it's very important to measure the amount of content that is made in each category. Out of 10 videos, 5 videos should be top of funnel, 3 videos should be middle of funnel, and 1 or 2 videos should be bottom of funnel. The second layer of the ecosystem is the flow of the IFP and ICP. Every piece of content has to connect to something else. If the content you create doesn't lead the viewer somewhere else, you're gonna click away and watch another video. These are 2 examples of funnels that we use for our personal brands. On YouTube, for example, we use top of funnel videos, which lead to one main video, which could be a course or more of a middle of funnel video. You want this video to be basically the main guide of your personal brand. From here, you can lead them to freebies or case studies or testimonials. Then from there, you lead them to a landing page. From the landing page, they can fill a form, get in contact with you, and then through sales calls or DMs, whatever it is, you can then talk about the offers and turn them into clients. Same thing can be done on Instagram. You have reels that are top of funnel, which lead to a follow. When they follow, they see story sequences, carousels, other reels. Then they DM you to get free resources. From there, you can gather emails, which is something that also you can do here in the YouTube section. From there, they can see ads. You can simply have DMs that lead them to landing pages where they have a lead form. They can contact you and buy your offer. Every single time that a person consumes a piece of content, they're immediately redirected to something else. The third layer of an ecosystem is a repurposing system. You want to maximize every single piece of content that you make. When you write a script, for example, I've prepared the script, right, for this video, and I can get 2 different outcomes. I can either just record this video and that's it, and I have one video. Or I can think about the multiple ways in which I can take advantage of this script to create multiple pieces of content. I can make a YouTube video, I can make an email out of this video, I can make an X post out of this video, I can make different reels out of this video. Maybe if I have a Substack, I can use a Substack. You don't have to start with all of these formats. Ideally, you start with one and then you gradually introduce other formats. How can you know when you should introduce new formats? Basically, when you're completely confident in the format that you're using. If you're working with YouTube and you want to repurpose videos, you can do it in 3 ways. The first one is to cut segments from the long form. So, for example, I could take this video and cut out some segments of some things that I say. The second one is to cut the key moments to have basically a shortened version of the long form. And the third one is to re-record to have a short form version, which is the one that I prefer. You finish recording your video and then you re-record short forms with hooks and structures that work for Instagram or TikTok based on the platform, and can also produce multiple short forms from one long form. And here's the third thing that you need to do to have a successful personal brand that you can actually monetize in a consistent way. You need to interact with potential customer consistent. In the current business age, human interaction and care is one of the most important differentiators. People want to interact with other people. They want to be guided. They don't just care about the information. They want somebody to guide them through the process and help them solve their problems. And the most important thing that you can do is listen and understand. You want to keep screaming your solution in the face of the prospect. Imagine if you were ill and you went to the doctor and the doctor didn't even listen to your symptoms and just started saying, oh, you need to take this medicine and this medicine. You're going to feel disrespected because they didn't even listen to your problems. They don't know what you're going through. And you're also worried that the solution is not really the solution that you need. What if they're wrong because they didn't understand my symptoms? What if I'm wasting my money? What if I'm wasting my time? What if I'm in danger? And you should consider yourself as a psychologist. You need to listen, you need to diagnose, you need to prescribe, whatever the niche is. If it's fitness, you need to listen about the problems they're going through. Are they struggling because they don't have time, because they don't have energy, because they have a family that they need to care for? If we're talking about somebody who's trying to get better at chess, do they feel stupid? Do they not have enough time? Do they not know where to get the resources and study the strategies? Literally, we're talking about every single niche. And because you give them value, the viewer, potential customer, whoever that person is going to trust you more and will be naturally drawn into working with you. And I'm just going to give you a practical example of a DM sequence that allows you to understand what their problems are. Let's say that the prospect reaches out for a free resource. You send the resource and a couple of hours later, you question them on the progress that they're doing with the free resource. Have you watched the video? Have you tried the exercises? Have you done this, that, etc.? You're going to reply, and then you're going to question them on their problems and challenges. Oh, amazing. Why did you want the free resource? Are you struggling with something right now? What is it that you're struggling with? They're going to give you their story. They're going to give you their struggles. And then you can ask them, what are your goals? What are you focusing on right now? What are you trying that you think that might work? What do you want to achieve? Once you understand exactly what they're going through and they feel like you've listened to them and you need to actually listen to them, then if you see that there is a fit, you can then present your product. Do you know that we have a free consultation that you can book so that we can get on a Zoom call and talk about all of these problems and I can guide you through a better solution? And then you get them through the funnel of your offer. And that's exactly what we do in New Way Society. If you want a free consultation, you can just click the link in the description, book a call. We'll get to know you, understand what you're going through, what you're struggling with, and we're going to give you guidance of what you can do better without any obligation whatsoever. And if you want to learn more about how to exactly structure your personal brand to achieve 10K per months just like we do, you can click the video that appears here on the screen to watch an in-depth breakdown. Hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.